people, we're kicking off the week with a brand new episode of Point of View. We've got some wild stories for you today, like a contractor in Washington who hired undocumented workers for a construction job, then turned around and called ICE to avoid paying them. Stay tuned, we got all the details. Later, we're diving into why some married couples more and more in the U.S. are choosing to keep their finances separate instead of sharing joint accounts. That's coming up in Girlfriend's Guide with today's co-hosts, Sunset and Shirley Dorr. Welcome to the table, ladies. So you come on in and join this discussion. You're watching POV. A contractor in Washington allegedly hired undocumented workers for a construction job only to turn around and call ICE to avoid paying them. The details are still unfolding, but this kind of exploitation, y'all know, isn't new. We've seen similar stories pop up in the construction industry before, where workers' immigration status gets used as a weapon to silence them and steal their wages. And with ICE raids ramping up across the country this year, a lot of people say it's creating a climate of fear that leaves workers even more vulnerable. I mean, can you imagine working long hours on a construction job only to have the boss call ICE on you instead of cutting you your paycheck?
Are we surprised?
My goodness.
Are we surprised?
It has been going on. This isn't, like they say, new.
Exactly.
It's almost, I venture to say, historical.
Yeah.
And it's really sad that, I mean, someone, a person online described it as demonic
Yes.
and pathetic.
Yes. Dehumanizing.
Dehumanizing.
For someone to work long hours, knowing they have to provide for their families, knowing that they're still feeling like they're in a place that they don't feel welcome, nowhere to feel like home.
Yes.
Everywhere feels like a prison. And for you, the least you can do, they show up to work, they do the dirty work that you're going to get paid for. And instead of feeling that little bit of safety that a paycheck could give them, you call ICE on them.
And the thing with construction work is they get high contracts. We're talking $1 million contracts just to pay people pennies.
Yeah.
And so you don't even want to pay the simple bit of pennies that you were going to pay them in the first place, so that you can keep and hoard and send someone all the way back to a country that they left, obviously, for a better life that they were trying to get by working with you, sacrificing their body, their back, their arms. Construction is no easy feat.
Their life.
Their entire life.
Literally. And it is so sad to see. But, you know, we've seen in recent years and times in just this current generation how quick karma comes back. And so it's going to be really interesting to see, even for this construction company, you know, where they are this time next year, because I can almost guarantee you that they will no longer be in business because, first of all, word is going to travel the kind of business that they're doing. And you hire these people because you couldn't afford to pay. Not only could you not afford to pay anyone else to do it, but whether it was greed or not, you also can't find people. You can't find people that were actually born on American soil, you know what I'm saying, that are going to do these jobs. So let's see where they are next year, because what goes around comes around.
Yeah, but are we talking about a specific issue or are we talking about a global issue? I think my concern is it's not just them. It's just them that got highlighted. It's like how many other companies are doing this right now,
I'm gonna tell you.
utilizing this moment to leverage and to feed on the vulnerable, the people who can't make it, the people who don't have nobody to have their back. Their countries don't have their back. We don't have their back. So they're just left vulnerable. And it's just...
Well, in April 2005, ICE arrested 37 people at another roofing company, Mount Baker, during an execution of a federal search warrant. Roofing company in July 2025 in Washington was raided by ICE after workers filed a safety complaint. So, like, these companies may not be held to any type of standard, no harsh consequences or anything. For one, you hired them, right? Because I thought that you weren't supposed to hire, you know.
They're legally,
Weren't they doing this like housekeepers?
You're required now, since 2024, to verify the legal status of your employees prior to hiring them.
Right.
But I'm sure they have a way around
but there's
that.
you're exploiting vulnerable workers, and there's no harsh
they
punishment.
could also say that it's not their fault that these, immigrants gave them false documents.
Oh, well.
I call BS.
Do you verify documents?
Yeah, of
I
course,
call
of course,
BS.
but I'm sure that's probably what they're going to try to say.
I've worked for a recruiting company. I've been a recruiter on the other end. No, it goes through
literally
very
came up with a
rigorous
system.
process. Exactly, a system that is it will feed it out, and it literally will tell you I-9 verification documents. You can't move past it. They know.
There's
They
something
know.
called e-verify.
It is. You have to.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to.
No, there's no excuses.
To me, I just feel like I am constantly, completely disgusted, even with the word illegal alien, because I just feel like no one is a native to this land. Where are they?
No one.
Where are they?
Yeah.
And the people who are quote unquote native because they've been here for some odd years, you're all descendants of European somebody.
Correct.
So there's no way you can call anyone an illegal alien when you yourself, your family.
This is not your land.
It's not. You literally.
But
can't figure out.
I think what happens if you kill, if you steal, if you destroy,
and
lie and as long as you're on the right side of what they have the system set up, then you are apparently this land.
Yeah.
And that's why
I
they
think
want
that's
to erase
what
the
it looks like.
history.
Yeah.
So that we don't know. Baby, just like everywhere else what's going on with Israel and Palestine, I ain't going to speak on it too much. But whose land is it?
Well, listening about history, talking about history, we're going to move on into the next topic. Because imagine walking into your child's school and seeing whites only and colored only signs hanging above the water fountains. Now, this sounds like a scene from the past, right? But this actually happened just weeks ago at a Georgia elementary school. Parents, of course, are furious. The NAACP is speaking out, and the school district is scrambling to explain how this slipped through. Was it a misguided history lesson or a dangerous misstep? And what does this say about how we teach our kids about race and history today? What you think about it?
I don't think it's a problem. Because it might get y'all mad. But this happened.
Yeah.
And they've been trying to erase what happened.
Yes.
And so someone displaying what actually happened in our history before they decide to wipe it completely out of our history, I don't know if that's much of a problem. Also, life looked like it was a little bit better when we were segregated. So.
It was. No, let's be clear. It was better when we were segregated. However, I think it was a bit distasteful because they were elementary kids. Elementary kids do not know how to process their emotions effectively enough to understand the totality of the situation. If this was high school, I would have probably given more grace. I would have agreed completely with you because your frontal lobes are formed. Your third eye is opening. You're coming into your own. You're realizing the reality of the world you live in, right? But in elementary, we're still leaning on adults to tell us what this world is. So for them to be presented with something that says why, that's hurting those kids' hearts. They don't know. They don't want to feel displaced. They might feel displaced at home. They might feel displaced from their parents. And now you're going to school and feeling displaced. Now they're probably feeling like they don't have nobody to go to. So I think this was just a little too much for elementary school.
But this happened to kids in elementary school.
It did.
First grade, second grade on.
It did.
This actually happened. So do you think it's like riling up the feelings, like they're back in this time to understand like the psychology, the feeling already in this age?
Well, I do think it's important for us to feel that. I'm actually a person that's hands-on. When I learn, I got to feel, see, touch, all of it. I use all my senses. So I do think it's appropriate because it happened. I just still think we're doing a disservice to the kids because, like they said, it didn't go through the district. Nobody approved it. So it may have been something that was already an issue that she probably, it was personal. So I think it just was done in, not the best way. Like there should have been another.
Like
it was just.
But a lot of things, a lot of lessons and history to teach kids can't go through the school system. It can't be approved because they're not approving history actually being taught.
Because they just want you to know their story,
Right.
their version of the story. I have an 8-year-old daughter, and last year I think we had got her a book, and so she found out about Ruby Bridges, and then she watched the movie that was on Netflix, and Ruby Bridges was the first young black girl that had to go to a segregated school when schools were desegregating. And, it really did empower her. She has, her best friend is, Spanish, Hispanic. I don't know how to properly say it. She also has another friend that's white, and they're all really close. And I feel like it really, because these kids are more mature than we think, especially if we give them the right information, the right tools. And so I feel like it empowered her in a way to show up for herself and to make sure that she felt respected and she knew the boundaries and she remembers the past so that, she can see when things are starting to happen now. And she doesn't come into those issues with her friends per se, but there are other people, maybe some black kids at school are bullying her friends because they're white and Hispanic or different things like that. And so they're able to stand up for each other because they know what once was. At one point, you weren't able to be my friend.
Yeah.
My goodness. Well, you all, we will be right back after a quick commercial break. It's already started really good. When we return, we'll talk about why more married couples in the U.S. are keeping their finances separate instead of sharing joint accounts. Coming up next on Girlfriend's Guide. So stay tuned. You're watching POV.
Hey y'all, happy Monday. I hope you guys had an amazing weekend as we did. We have a question for you guys at the table. You already know the spiel, and one for our viewers at home. The question is, could you marry someone who's been engaged 3 times before you? See, he ain't up here today. I ain't gonna tell his business. But we know a man that we at this table, y'all. All know it. Okay. We ain't gonna talk about him since he ain't here, but could you guys marry someone who's been engaged 3 times?
You said something. You said you don't have much of a discernment.
Yes.
You chose to get engaged and then chose to call it off all 3 times. So before that statement, I was like, who cares? But after that statement, I said, well, yeah, like, why would you propose? And so this has actually happened to a friend of mine. The man proposed 3 times to 3 different women. And he called all 3 of them off and then got into whatever, trying to get to know my friend and was like, oh, I want to get married. I was like, no, not the 4th, call it off. That's right, no, it happened right now. It ain't going to be you, baby.
So you're saying no, you couldn't marry someone. Right.
3?
What you think?
It's suspect to me because it's like, why are you getting engaged and then calling it off? What you can't hold it down? Like, what's happening?
Why are you taking the next step?
Yeah.
Could we
And not
possibly think though that maybe at some point the discernment is kicking in?
I was just like,
this is not right before I go too far. But y'all let us know in the comments. We gotta get back to the show. The break is too short. You're watching POV.
Welcome back. I hope you all saw commercial, because let me tell you, that was a hot question right there. Locked in, it was loaded. Okay, welcome back. Now it's time to get into all things love, life, relationships, and everything in between. Let's get into Girlfriend's Guide. What if your marriage meant sharing everything except your money? Believe it or not, more couples in the U.S. are choosing to keep their finances completely separate. No joint accounts, no shared spending, just two people navigating life together while guarding their financial independence. Now, some call it smart, others call it cold, but either way, it's forcing us to ask the hard question. In today's world, does love still mean financial unity, or has marriage evolved into a partnership of independence? What you think?
Y'all gonna have to go, honey, because
Okay.
I don't like this too much.
You don't like it?
I
don't like that song.
I agree. I personally think that people need to have autonomy over themselves, and I do believe in two people being independent and coming together to share what they view as dependency on one another.
Okay.
And if that means we separate our finances, whatever works for you, works for you. And that's just genuinely how I feel. Yeah. I feel like when two people are separate and they feel real secure in themselves, they have a better quality of life. When we mix too much of everything, I feel as though that's where the problems arise, because people stop respecting individuality. So I'm not mad at it. I won't per se to say I would do it, but I'm just not mad at it because I understand the power in independence. While still being
Is it
together.
because of where we are today?
No, I would have said this
period.
even period. Okay. Yeah, because you got to think about it. Women were not even allowed to have a bank account to get money on property.
Anything.
So at some point, we weren't even allowed to be in the conversation.
Right.
So if she's saying she need this as to come into her maturity and say, I want my independence, I think we should honor that. So to me, I was going to agree with this, whether we're in the 1950s or the 2000s. I just think individuality helps when people come together, that they're already feeling secure within themselves.
But what about the man saying, I need my independence, I need my own bank account?
That's fine.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay,
I
so
agree.
now what about if it's a situation where emotionally you are fed and led and you're covered, and spiritually, and you guys are just in this blissful love? And so, love and marriage checks all the boxes for, in that aspect. But then the woman, since we're keeping finances separate, the woman is not financially, responsible
You should give her
or stable.
allowance.
No, but not now. We're talking about him giving her allowance. We're talking about this concept in her figuring life out in love and marriage, pretending to be one with her little finances, and him over here with his finances.
I don't agree.
I think it's just saying that they're keeping their accounts separate. I don't think it means that they're not making financial decisions together.
Yeah.
I think you're still upholding the bond of your marriage,
Yeah.
but you are still preparing yourself as two financially independent people. And I think people who make this decision also probably are very financially literate.
Yeah.
Because when you're financially illiterate, you're not going to even have the separate account to begin with when you decide to be partnered.
Yeah.
Usually becoming partnered is how you save your financial situation. So this sounds like something that people who are very aware of their finances, who are like, okay, I made this much money, I'm going to keep it in this bank. You made this much money, I'm going to keep it in this bank. And if we do decide that we're going to make decisions together that involves our money, we're just going to put your share.
Yeah, because I don't think it negates the conversation of being transparent about the money we're making, right? You still know what's going on. It's just we keep it separate to help us have security within ourselves so that we can make decisions together. And it feels better when you're able to say, I have autonomy over my life, and you're like, I'm choosing to do this rather than being forced to. That's what I think.
Interesting.
Yeah, I understand where you guys are coming from, and it wants to make sense to me.
It's running from it's running from
Share account matters now.
Yeah.
I feel like it wants to make sense to me, but and I think my grandmother always raised us, have your own account, your own something to the side, save for a rainy day. Even with, God forbid, something can happen to the family, and all of your money's not in one pot, and you can say, here, baby, we are okay. So I do value that. I just feel like right now we're in a time where daily people are taking so much away from the original meanings and concepts of things that sometimes it just scares me to wonder, what are we going to be left with? If everybody can just change everything and make up a new everything every day.
We should, though, because think about it. At the beginning of this, somebody did. That's where that came from.
It was only beneficial to a specific
group.
person.
Exactly. So
And
we
then
got to
it
think about that.
to spread apart depending on societal changes.
Yeah.
So yes,
You ain't gonna want the societal change that I think made everything
get like this is sin. Okay, that's what happened.
That's true. Hey, look, it ended up changing.
Yeah, it ended up changing. Keeping separate accounts, do you think it has to do with trust?
No.
Or is it, like you said, the financial
We don't always
maturity?
have to go back to trust, guys. If we even keep it financially literate, I don't even advise married couples to put the house under both of their names because of the financial benefits of you keeping it separate. So it's like, I wouldn't even advise that as a financial advisor.
Right, I'm glad you said
get
that.
what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because
no,
I'm
there
coming
are
from
advantages
this
to
side
keeping
of
it
things.
separate.
Exactly. I say
In the
to
past,
keep
it made
everything.
sense.
Yes, in the
Yes,
past,
because
yes.
someone had full legal rights.
Right, and someone
the
had
other
none.
one had none.
Yes.
But now that there's there's not equity yet.
Yeah.
But now that we're trying to get to the path of equity, now that there's equity and women can work and they can own and they can get businesses and they can do all of these financially mature decisions,
Correct.
it makes sense for us to separate, but still joint decisions
Yes.
about how we control our money within our house.
Yep.
So rather than it creating distance, it really should be bringing us together.
Yes, it empowers you. You have more leverage in the financial world of things. You have more leverage when you keep everything separate. If I'm going to make sure you qualify for a mortgage, if I use both of y'all credit, y'all both going down. But if I use one person's credit, we build this one, you go buy the next home that he has to stay in because by law, you got to stay in the first home if you use FHA. But if he doesn't, she can still go buy your investment home. We got to talk building. Like, we got to leave the old days. That's why I say, yeah, I get it. But tradition didn't have these kind of conversations. They didn't have these advisors telling them like, hey, yeah, keep it separate.
And some communities already noticed. They already been doing it for a long time. Been exploiting that.
Yeah, they got 7 names anyway, so what difference does it make?
Right. Moving on to our final segment of the day, let's get into unpopular opinions. Tina Turner, the queen of rock and roll, has finally been honored with a 10-foot statue in her hometown of Brownsville, Tennessee. The statue captures her iconic stage presence, her fiery spirit, and even her signature hairstyle, a mane as bold as the legend herself. But fans are already questioning it. Many say... Tally banging on the table, y'all hear here, because she got to say something. Let me get through it. Many say it barely looks like her, and how did it even get approved? So, ladies, I already know, in your opinion, does this statue really honor Tina Turner? Or is it just missing it
That
completely?
must have been the same person that did Dwayne Wade.
or that statue in Times Square, was it?
Yeah, it got...
Are there any African American people on the board of directors?
Where are the
there
people
any?
that work for Madame Tussauds? They seem to get everybody right. If I was Tina, I would be the one that would be going with a bulldozer and knocking the hair off her head.
Why that hair looked like a hat?
A hat.
Tina might have had big hair, but
That
it never looked like a hat.
like a city, baby. That is a town. Okay? They said that was Tina from Bob's Burgers.
I need this taken down by yesterday. Get it out of here, please.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Listen, that looked like Tina and Bubba Gump had a baby. Because the bottom jawline
look like that.
Oh my God.
Tina, baby. I'm
sorry.
You
Oh,
was working
my
that
God.
Tina. You had a little thickness to it. Come on, baby. Your hamstrings were stronger than that. Like, what?
This looked like Ike busted her head wide open and it just swole up. Because what is this?
Was it good intentions gone wrong?
Girl.
Or you just say, this is
Raquel,
disrespectful?
please. Raquel, we are tired.
Who that man hop on?
No. This is not good intentions. We clearly have pictures of Tina.
Right.
We've seen her live. We've seen videos of her. They intentionally wasn't being intentional. I think they just missed the mark.
They submitted that RFP and was like,
who's
yes, this
part
is
of the board of directors, Shirley?
You know
we
what,
need to see the
only
faces.
I don't even
thing
wanna
that
say
is
who did it.
accurate about
Okay.
this, there is one thing that's accurate and it's undisputed now. Those arms. Now, those are Tina Turner's arms, okay? I want that arm right now.
They made that arm in the gym. That was crafted in the gym.
Oh my God.
Right.
Oh, Lord.
Do you? Oh yeah! Wow.
This looked like she had Botox.
On top of that, you know what? And I want, you know what? The disrespect. Okay?
This right here.
Can it still honor her even
No.
though it doesn't capture her life?
It can't honor her if it ain't her.
No, we gotta stop letting these things slide.
You're
no.
right about Madame Tussauds.
No.
Why not? Why aren't they doing this?
This is inspired.
No,
by
put it in the budget. No. Put it in the budget. All right, we gotta go back to the board of directors.
Maybe they got
It
a low
is
budget.
Tennessee.
No,
Can they just take the head
There's
off
some
and make a new
artists
head?
right now they can find on Fiverr, freelance.com, and we can get this better. No.
I wonder if they can just chisel the hair down.
No.
I know it's really big.
Redo it.
Imagine we're talking about the Tina Turner, and this is the conversation we're having. You see why?
It'd be like a caricature.
It need a little jam.
Oh my goodness.
I want to know at what age was this supposed to be, Tina?
It's a combination of old Tina and
I'm telling you.
Oh my
Tina's body.
gosh. Oh my gosh. This is, well, I mean.
Put it back.
Hey, y'all
Put it back.
Y'all see
This
it.
look more like Venus and Serena to me. The old
Wow,
Venus and
oh
Serena.
my goodness. This is a wrap for today's episode. But before we go, let's leave you with this quote. The measure of life is not only how many successes you achieve, but how many lives you touch for the glory of God. Thanks for hanging out with us on POV. And don't you forget, you can catch us every weeknight, Monday through Friday, only on AFRO TV, darlings. Have a great night.